Hi Jyoti, welcome on Europedia.
Thank you.
Okay, Jyoti, now I got opportunity to interact with you 2 years back when you were in India and you were exploring various opportunities abroad, and you got selected that time in Pennsylvania State University and other universities also, and you thought of joining Pennsylvania State University for PhD program in physics.
Yeah.
Now it is almost 1.5 year you are in this particular program, Jyoti, and I thought of interacting with you once again so that we provide a lot of information to the students who are interested to join such courses. So, Jyoti, you are from physics background, and I would interact with you and know many things about this entire prestigious program and what are the opportunities for Indian students, especially in the field of science and mathematics. So I start with you. Please tell all the viewers here about your academic background, what you have done, which degrees you have done, which courses you have done back home in India, and then we'll proceed forward, Jyoti.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I have done my physics honors from Delhi University. Then I have done master's in physics, applied physics from IIT ISM Dhanbad. Then then I joined Penn State for PhD in engineering science and mechanics program. So right now I'm a second year PhD student in Penn State. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Jyoti, you mentioned that you have joined for particular department in Pennsylvania University. What is that department?
So the department is engineering science and mechanics department. So yeah, my main work is in optical resonators, mainly in optics, but my department is not physics. So being from physics, I decided to go with for the engineering one. Because for PhD, you can choose any department.
Okay. But in India, we know that if you're a student of physics and you're doing PhD in physics, then you join Department of Physics, like in IITs and all. But
Mhm.
what is there in Penn State University or those universities abroad? You can join any department and do work, Jyoti. And your professor is from which background? I mean, if you talk about you must be working with one professor. I don't know whether one or two, but he from physics background?
So for all the universities in abroad, they're very flexible as to like where you want to do research. I've seen like many people, even from the art department, they go and do PhD in computer science, so it doesn't matter. It's all
Hmm.
about interdisciplinary research. And I think even India is moving like that because earlier when I used to work for like diet student, then I have seen people joining from physics to material science in quantum department, even if they have no background. So I think interdisciplinary research is the next big thing, and all the universities are focusing on that. And yes, my professor was an engineer, and then he shifted to physics. Like he worked in industry for a few years, and then he's working in physics, basically optics. Yeah.
So when we talk about flexibility available in those universities abroad, Jyoti, what do we actually mean? What kind of flexibility students get in US universities?
I think like I have experience so far in 2 year in US is like you get like if you're really interested in something, then it doesn't matter like you're from which background. If you have the right knowledge, you just go there and do it. Most of the people in my department have no knowledge about like what they are currently working on. So, and also PhD is something like you figure it out yourself. So, like, if you're passionate enough, and if I go and talk to, even now, like, my department is engineering science and mechanics, but I work with chemistry professor, material science professor. If I want to need some help from computer science people, then they are also there. So it's all about collaboration. There is nothing like this is your professor, you have to work with them. No, if you're interested in anything and any person can help you can just go there, talk to them. It's very normal. And then they will, yeah, why not collaborate? Something like that. So that is really a good thing about it. And also for the coursework, like you can choose course from any department, which was very new to me. There is no fixed coursework as such. You can just like choose some material. Like if you want to learn computer science, choose some computer science. If you just have credit, you have to fulfill certain amount of credit. Certain
Mm,
fixed credit you have to do from your department, like very
mhm,
basic. But
mm,
rest, the coursework you can choose from any department. It
mm.
doesn't matter.
Okay, so Jyoti, when when we talk about PhD back home, if I talk about India, when we say I'm in PhD, I'm in IIT doing PhD and all, certain things pop up, certain things comes to the mind. Number one, lot of pressure. Number two, lot of grilling section
Yeah.
from the professor. I mean, professor really putting a lot of expectations from you. Students sometimes they are in hurry to complete PhD, and they are worried like when I'll complete it and what will the opportunities post PhD. This perception that PhD is a really difficult course, and a professor can make your life hell also if you don't do properly, and you are under a lot of pressure, and you will get less scholarship. These are, I'm telling you honestly, because I keep on interacting with so many students. And what stops a student from exploring this option? Obviously, you have to explore it if you're interested in this, but what stops even interested people from exploring these options are these factors. Like
Yeah.
professors, your pressure from the professor, pressure from your side, academic requirements, and PhD duration and scholarship. These are some factors, Jyoti. I would like to ask you, what is the situation in those universities?
So as far as scholarship is concerned, I think you get like a lot of money. I know people have like I have never met a PhD student complaining about there is lack of money, even if they're starting a family, kids, and in US, everything is taken care of with just single PhD money. So I don't think so that is a problem. But yes, time is a problem. If you're going on and finding something new, of course, that can take
Hmm.
as much time as you want, and it can be done quickly also. But good thing about here is like nobody is going to pressurize you to do something, but at the same time, everybody is so good that you end up doing good work yourself. Yeah.
Hmm. So
So
work-life
I don't
balance,
think.
there's a term called work-life balance,
Yeah,
Jyoti.
yeah. I think there is a work-life balance pretty much. Like it's very like it's not definitely not like India. Like so you're not accountable to professors. It's mostly PhD years are very much industry oriented. So government is not giving you funds. Of course, government do sponsor certain programs, but the government is also kind of privatized. So it's kind of industry work. Like I know a person, like just next to my lab, he works for Meta. Like so, they are answerable to the company. So professor also doesn't interfere. He'll just be a stepping stone between you and the company, and rest you have to deliver them the results. So it's very independent kind of a thing. Your supervisor will of course want you to do good work or publish papers, but at the same time you are not responsible to him. You're responsible to your sponsors, and the project deadlines are important. You have to stick to it. Otherwise, micromanaging it's very rare, but again, it depends from person to person. Like certain PI would like you to do micromanaging, but most of the PI are like not even here. So it's like entirely dependent on you, like how you go about the project.
So when you think
Yeah,
PI, does that mean primary investigator?
professor.
So
Yeah,
he's like your professor, or he's industry people?
he's my like that will be a supervisor, the
Okay.
professor.
So, okay, Jyoti, you mentioned that people are working on industrial projects. You also gave example of Meta. So how many students get these kind of projects, or out of 100 PhDs, how many PhDs may be getting these industrial projects?
I think 85%.
Almost everybody is
So
getting, huh?
yeah, because like for example, in India, it happens like certain labs will sponsor you, government will sponsor you. You have to clear CSIR net exam, then government will give you money. It's not
Mm,
like that here. People are work like for example, Penn State is very good in material science department. I
mm,
also like for 6 months was working in material science. Like it's It has the Intel Research Center. It made the Gorilla Glass. Now they are working in something else. They are making a
Mm,
new type of glass. So if most of the labs are sponsored by
mm,
companies, and
mm,
even the government is sponsored by like the private
mm,
sector. So
mm,
even if it is sponsored by government, then also indirectly you're working for private
mm,
sector, I would say. So that will
mm,
make your project very much
mm,
industry oriented. So there is
mm,
no like post PhD. At
mm,
least in US, people consider PhDs to like PhD better than masters.
mm,
So
mm,
that is a perception, at least in US. I'm not very sure about India, but yeah, in US they do respect PhD people, and
mm,
like you will get like a lot of money also like after finishing it if you want to continue in industry, academia, things.
mm, mm. So, Jyoti, now you were saying that students work on the projects, industry sponsored projects. I want to ask you related to scholarships. So, what is the typical, flow of what is the typical scholarship students get in PhD? And when you do industrial projects, does that amount come from industries, or if some students is doing really good work on the projects, can that scholarship be enhanced? Is it like a project you're handling, or how it goes? I mean, what is the scholarship kind of things?
So basically, like at least all the universities go about two programs. One is a teaching assistant, one is a research assistant,
Mm,
usually. So teaching assistant are paid like slightly less, or maybe it's just for my university, I don't know. But usually research assistant are paid like little bit higher. And
mm,
both of them are like quite comfortable job. People like all of them have like a lot of savings also. So there is nothing to be worried about that the money is less. Both of them get good money. How the industry provide the money is you or your professor have to write a grant if
mm,
you want to work. For example, we
mm,
work in quantum optics, and if Intel is working or IBM is working, so we'll
mm,
write a grant. If it get
mm,
accepted, the entire PhD of the student is
mm,
sponsored by that grant. So
mm,
that is how you get the scholarship.
mm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So in India, when you join PhD, you just identify research work for you, maybe the field in which professor is working, and then you start working on that. So the touch
Mm-hmm.
with industry or the industrial project is minimal. That is very, very less. Just you are working on a problem and then you identify that. And after PhD, you start searching for opportunities in the industries. How does it go, Jyoti, the moment you join PhD in Penn State University? Suppose you joined it, now, how does it flow? I mean, you will talk to your professor and then you will think of industrial project, or you will start writing proposal for industry. How does it go?
I think the professor will tell you, like, of course, you cannot work on something on which your professor doesn't have expertise. Otherwise, how can he or she guide you?
Yes.
So,
Mm,
the project is always aligned to the professor's research or the lab research only. But I'm saying the professors are also indirectly working for the
industries only,
major
projects. Mm,
problems or industrial projects.
mm,
So that is a difference here. I would say also you are very much welcome to do internships. People do
mm,
extensive internships. For example,
mm,
my roommate is a fifth year
mm,
PhD student. She has worked with
mm,
Google and other
mm,
places also,
mm,
like three, four industries she has done like
mm,
internship during her PhD. So I
mm,
think that helps. Uh,
mm.
yeah.
Okay. So now one another comparative analysis I will do is when we compare Indian top universities like IITs, professors do consultancy work for industries, but what I found is like majority of the professors are doing consultancy work for government organizations like DST or ISRO or these kind of organizations. Private
Mhm.
organization I found little less. I've been part of this entire system for more than 10 years, so I realized that less projects are being done from industries that to private industries. What is the situation in US when professors are handling the projects? Typically, how many projects professor handles, and these projects are sponsored by government or they are private projects also.
So that will depend on the professor, how many projects he or she wants to handle. But like it's like certain labs are purely industrial, whereas certain labs are very much academic also. So it doesn't matter. But the point is like I would like to say there is very much of an economic difference between India and USA. For example, in India, privatization is still not that much common. But when it comes to US, even the army or the other things are also very much privatized. So there is no concept of, I think, pure government here. Uh, they are very much privatized with lateral entry or anybody. The professor pretty much work on their research interest. If it aligns with industry, very good. If it aligns with government, they are very much happy to do that. But my point is even government is sponsored by industry, so that will indirectly like comes to uh like I used to work for a lab that we used to work for government, but then the government was also doing collaboration with some private like Loki Martin or some other companies. So yeah.
Okay, so now coming to Jyoti, your university, Pennsylvania State
Mhm.
University, Penn State University, and that is very reputed university. I request you to tell something about your university to students in India.
I think Penn State is very good school, especially for material science or my department. It's ranked like material science as a society was developed here, like as a branch was originated here. And also it's very famous for sports.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, but I think research is Penn State research is very good. Like if you want to work on something, all the resources are here. You don't even have to think about it. We have nanofabrication labs. We have the one of the best professors. You want to work with a lot of collaboration, a lot of money. So I don't think so. That is like if you were really interested in research, I think it's a very good school to apply. Yeah.
and you know we have discussed about the academic part, research projects and all. But then in the life of a student, there is a non-academic part also. Like you mentioned about the sports and maybe cultural activities and all. Please tell us about the life in campus, non-academic life in the campus.
Yeah, so like you can do whatever like whatever activities you want to get involved in UNESCO or like if you're interested in sports, like you'll get coaches or whatever you want to do whenever or any dance club. If you want to form your own club, then also you'll get a lot of funding from the GPSA, which is Graduate Professional Students Association. I myself is member of Indian Graduate Student Association. We hosted like a lot of concerts, like calling singers or everyone. So I think
Mm.
life is pretty much balanced. You can explore your other part also alongside with academic. You can do whatever you really are interested in. There is no limit to the resources. And yeah, that I would like to.
Okay. And Jyoti, if I ask you about that typical lifestyle of PhD student, like what they do on weekends and weekdays, how, I mean, what kind of schedules they have. So, life of PhD student in Penn State.
Um, I think again it is very subjective, but I will say like of course there are certain time in a PhD student life when the research becomes the most important or the only thing when you want to get the results or something. But I think other than that, it is pretty much very much well balanced or work-life balance is there. But yeah, it's very competitive. You have to like work really hard and then show the results. But there will be a lot of people to help you. Like there is no lack of any kind of resources. Like I think that is a good thing. And of course, you have to find a balance between the work and other activities. So I think it's pretty much.
Okay. And Jyoti, now coming to again the probability of getting selection in such universities. There are so many students, you know, back home who will be listening to you, and they aspire to be in these kind of places. Especially when you get everything, when you get very good opportunities, you get a scholarship and everything you get it, and very good career also. And you know, the best part is like in Indian system also, when I was a part of IT system, I realized that. You were saying that I don't know whether masters are valued more or PhDs are valued more in India. I tell you, the perception is like if you get job in BTech, then get into job, why
Hmm.
to do MTech? And if you get a job in MTech, do the job, why to do PhD? And if you're in PhD, the first question pops up is you could not get job in BTech or MTech. That is a perception actually. If I tell you, summarize. But now the point is it is changing. Now it is changing. People are going for specialized things. Industries are preferring specialized people. I hope and I believe that in future things improve. But in India, even now, because of lack of resources, you mentioned this term many very frequently, like we have sufficient resources and all. That simply means getting research facilities, getting funding, even for conference you want to go outside, getting the money for that. Those things still are restricted in India. Plus, scholarship still is 35 to 45K per month. In that scholarship you cannot have, feed your family. There are so many people, no, after 30 they want to go for PhD with
Hmm.
families and all. So that
Yeah,
part
yeah,
is
yeah.
missing in India. So I keep on doing comparative analysis. So I find that these things still are lacking, and I believe and I hope things improve very soon.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the professors are concerned and other capabilities are concerned, that you will find here also, that you will find in India also, those things are there. But yes, these are some of the lacunas. Now, after this comparative analysis, first choice of the students is to do PhD in foreign universities. That is there because they want to become financially independent, and
Yeah, yeah.
in India there are students who are to send back money to their home also. We know the situation. So
Mm-hmm.
that is their first choice. Now, the first question pops up their mind is Penn State University. You said is a wonderful university and everything is there. After listening to people like you, the second question, pragmatic question, comes to their mind is, can I get it? I mean, is it possible for me to get it? So I would shoot this question to you from on behalf of students. That Jyoti, what are the credentials and how somebody will do his assessment whether he can land up in such kind of universities?
So I think it is very much possible, but of course, like uh, to apply for PhD, you need to show some kind of academic background. I will always say the publication helps. At least in my case, it did. Like it doesn't matter what journal it is, but like if you have a publication, that will make a lot of difference.
Mm,
If not, then go and do internships, work with professor, have good letter of recommendation. They genuinely read each and every word. I remember my professor asked, what do you mean by this word written in your letter of recommendation? Even after
mm,
1 year, they remember. So I
mm.
think like we don't take it seriously, but
They take it
these
serious.
people
Mm,
like the word of mouth is very much important, especially in academy. So
mm,
I think if there is always the chance, like if you've not done it from a good undergrad, try to do it a good
mm,
masters. If you've not done good masters, then maybe try to do some project, internship, try to contact with professors, always write emails to them. They will always are happy to reply. So I
mm,
think you should do multiple projects or at least a strong recommendation which you can show in your uh, paper. So that is about it. And I
mm,
know the college matter, but I've seen people from different universities also who have done like good research work just because of their research work they're here. So it's not like only IIT are getting selected. So
mhm,
that is
mhm,
not a concept here,
mhm,
I will
mhm,
say. And I think it is changing. Like I had like since I was a member of this IGSA, so I met Secretary of State and Indian like minister to India from US. They were working on. There's a professor called Akhilesh Lattake. He's member of like policy making in US for Indian education system. So we were part of it and they were at such senior position, but they were like listening to us. So their major concern was like why only IITians are coming. We want to take like people from different universities. So I
mhm,
think even USA people are also recognizing that only 2, 3 colleges are coming to
mhm,
US. So they are also like trying to do it. For example, they are planning to do more a collaboration with some other universities which are maybe not that famous, like IIT, NIT, BIDS or something. But I think they are recognizing it. So if you have a good profile, then don't feel hesitant to apply, I will say.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, Jyoti, now, before coming to Penn State for PhD, you devoted some time. I remember during post-grad counseling sessions, and you mentored student, you were guiding students, and almost all the students you were helping, they got admission in top courses in IITs, and they were physics, math students. Uh, Now, last year, what we have done is last year we on your Edia Mentors, they have started, mentoring students collectively for India and abroad. So we thought that why not more opportunities on table? And it so happened that 50 students joined for this, I must say, this combined modules, and they explored opportunities in India and they explored opportunities abroad also. So abroad has a different requirements, and it may take some time also to get admission and to go and join the course. In the meantime, these students were learning in Indian universities in the labs and all, and when the time came, they joined foreign universities also. At the same time, another feature was like, students who were their graduates, they were aspiring and applying collectively for master's program and PhD programs. Now, direct PhD after graduation is something which provides a lot of benefits in terms of monetary benefits also. And as we discussed just now, that PhD has more value and more career opportunities. And that may be one of the reasons that these students applied abroad also. Now, I want to ask you is like, what is your perception on this particular thing that students explore opportunities in the summers collectively for Indian universities and foreign universities? Foreign universities maybe their dream jobs. It is like, when you go for placement, you have opportunity from placement office that you get a job, and after you have got a job, you can sit for one dream job also. So you have one job and one your dream job in your hand. So can this be done? I mean, Indian University also. Okay, I got IIT Delhi, but at the same time, I got Penn State also. Now it is up to me whether I want to join this. In the meantime, I did not go to Penn State. I'm continuing with IIT Delhi. What is your perception on this entire thing?
I think, yeah, it is always good to apply to both the colleges, but at the same time, I don't want to deeming Indian university. I think like phenomenon research is going on there. IISc Bangalore, I don't think so. Even Penn State, like professor, they respect it. So if you get like for PhD, it's very different. You need to focus on the professor and the research and where you can get the resources. I get it. The resources are much better in US university, but if your professor is very much famous and you get a like you applying in Indian university and you get a good universe like good professor, then I would say like why not? I think you should apply to both the university and whatever is beneficial to you, you should use that.
Okay, and Jyoti, now coming to this duration part. I mean, that is a criticism for Indian University also, and maybe sometime US also you mentioned. So, what is the typical duration of PhD for those who have done their masters already and joined PhD, and for those who have done their graduation only and now coming for PhD?
So in US, it doesn't matter if you have done masters or
Okay,
only undergrad because you have to do the university coursework.
okay.
So after that, I think most of the students don't know that you have an option of graduating with a master's.
Mhm.
So after 2 years, you can finish the coursework and then graduate with the master's also. So no matter if you have done undergrad or master, you have to finish this uh, minimum credit requirement by the university. Although it is different for master students and undergrad students, but I think it doesn't impact your number of years uh, of
Mm-hmm.
graduating. And I think typical graduation time would be between 4 to 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 to 5 years will be taken, right?
Hmm.
And what are the
Yeah.
typical opportunities after PhD, Jyoti, in the form of jobs and all?
Uh, so yeah, you can always work in academia if you want, but a
Mhm.
lot of people do join it, like industry, like because there is like a lot of money, especially in US in industry. And
Mm.
also, if you have a PhD, you get green card easily, and there are like a lot of other benefits. So people do prefer to work in industry, I would say. And a lot of people, for example, in my lab, like one person get into Samsung, other one get into Intel. So these were the three people who graduated, and one of them decided to do postdoc from Stanford. So like it's there, like two of them chose like industry because the thing with the industry in US is they mostly focus on research and development. So although they are working in industry, but they're still writing papers, they're still doing research. So for them, it's not a change of their work, or it's not like their work is drastically changed.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
working for industry, but in the research. So
Mhm.
it doesn't like make a huge difference. But yeah, that comes from person to person whether you want to continue in academia or join industry.
Mhm. Okay. So, Jyoti, now you have spent 1.5 year in PhD. Look like you're quite satisfied with your performance and all. I would like to ask you is like, if you go back, how you would have taken the different route in your academic life? I mean, go back to a graduation or maybe 11th, 12th class, and how you would have taken differently. So that
Uh,
path you traveled, how you would have done it differently. Yeah.
uh, I mean, I think there will always be a regret that I could have done that or not. But one thing I think I really regret is like not joining it directly after my master's because I had an option to do it. But instead, I prepared for government exams and like UPSC, and then I eventually shifted. So maybe there's always a regret. Oh, I wasted 2.5 years. I could have like finished by now. So that is something I regret. I think, except that I don't regret anything.
Mhm. This in India, it's a like role model. What is visible. So government jobs and all, there's a lot of craze in India, and I normally tell my students, and that is my personal mission in my life is this also. Like as a teacher, I would like to tell students that okay, devote 1 year, 2 years for this exam preparation, but don't devote 5 years, 7 years, because I mentor students, for these jobs, and also I find that there are students, Jyoti, who are spending 5, 6 years sitting idle at home preparing for UPSC and these jobs because world में there are so many opportunities out there, right? 5, 6 years is a big, chunk in your entire life. So you cannot devote like that. So yes, that
Yeah,
particular point is there. 1 or 2 is okay, but not more than that.
yeah, I think. And during my time, there was COVID also, so it automatically got
You're
extended.
supposed to. So there was no other option but to sit and prepare, right? Okay. Okay, Jyoti. So
Maybe.
see, now I would like to ask you about research areas for students of physics. Now, sitting here, students do not have much awareness like what areas they should work. You mentioned quantum computing when you were answering something. So, please tell us what are the probable opportunities for students of science, maybe physics or mathematics. You can tell.
So the good thing about physics is I know in India it's not respected, but for some reason in US people consider it so much better than engineering. It's
Wonderful.
like automatic. If you will say you're from physics, they'll be like, "Oh, you must be intelligent." That is their
Super
first
intelligent, huh?
reaction.
They'll put in the category of Einstein and all.
Yeah. So the main reason would be because if you're from physics, then it's very much of a opportunity. Then you can work in anything, I would say. Like I know people who are working in theoretical, so they're working computational. I am from optics, so I'm working in quantum optics part of it. So that would be like eventually applicable in quantum computing. But like if somebody is very much interested in coding and he's from physics, then he can work on the computational part of it. So that is also an probable option. Most of the people, at least in Penn State or the people I know, are working in material science because it's, I think, world ranking two in material science. So they work in fabrication of chips. For example, the main new topic is developing two-dimensional materials to replace silicon eventually. So they work in graphene and other things. So in that, there is characterization, making new materials, finding new materials. So that is a main focus for most of the people from physics also. Then astrophysics. I think you can work in anything if you want, like
Yes.
electrical engineering or whatever. I think
Mm,
if you're from physics, so that will open up your
mm,
field in everything, like because you have technically studied everything, but not in depth. But yeah, that helps you in choosing the field
mm.
you want to work. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, Jyoti, you were mentioning again and again that material science department in which you are also working, that is the best in Penn State, and material science is something which is interdisciplinary also. I would like to ask
Yes.
you, is like this department material science is only for particular branch of students, engineering background, or for everyone, electronics, electrical, mechanical, everyone?
I think it is for everyone.
Okay.
It's more chemistry people are there, people from like lot of people from chemistry, computational, like people I know somebody from IIT Roorkee and done BTech in computer science. He is working in
Mm,
PhD in computational thermodynamics. So you can work in anything you want. So I think it is
okay.
a very interdisciplinary branch also. So
Mm,
we need to work in materials, so people come from all the
mm,
backgrounds.
wonderful. So Jyoti, that brings us to an end of this wonderful session. And whatever I wanted to discuss with you, Jyoti, I discussed and you provided in-depth answers. I'm really thankful to you for that. Now, anything you want to tell the students who are listening to you? Any message from your side?
I think the only message will be like you should like never think like you won't be getting selected. The first thing will be I think you should apply. No matter if you think the college is very high. For example, I had a student who had like very low gate score and she gets selected in 12 IITs, I think. Same like happened with me. I
I
also
remember.
never thought I will get accepted, but I only applied to four schools. I got in three of them. So you never
Mm,
know like when are you getting selected. But the one thing will be like never stop
yes.
doing it. Like
Yes.
yeah.
Mm. That is very, very important message, Jyoti, because students sometimes put self-imposed restrictions on them that, okay, my gate score is low, or I don't have GRE, or I don't have credential, I don't have research paper, I do not have publication, I may not get it. So that thing
Mm.
is basically not good. You just, you should try, you should take the first initiative. And if you have
Mm.
belief in your mind that, okay, this is what I want to do, and I put my work efficiently, I do my work efficiently, at least I apply
Mm.
properly, then we will surely get opportunities. So thanks a lot, Jyoti, for your time, and we wish you all the very best for your, research work, academic work. And again, I'll, pop up and interact with you once you complete your PhD and you become Dr. Jyoti Sharon.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.